Welcome to Karana CPQ. Let's take a look at the product features that we have available. I'm going to go ahead and find the data migration product that we were using during prior demos. This is loaded up. We can see that this is a configurable product and that this contains 11 components and 5 configurable parameters. We can see the SKU, and we can see the variant that we're currently looking at. So data migration under this SKU has a variant under this SKU. I can go ahead and add additional variants, and they will become available in that variant dropdown. I can also make variants active or inactive. Go ahead and remove that. Clicking settings in the top corner over here is going to give me the ability to update the description, select whether this is a configurable item or not, select whether it allows separate sale or not. If you have components, so items that are only components of a bigger bill of material and cannot be sold separately, you would leave this unchecked. It would show up as a component and it will not be available to add directly to a quote. I have some base pricing information and some inventory unit of measure tax classification information in here. If I go ahead and I expand this particular variant that I have, we're going to see several options. I can update the SKU and the name for this particular item. I can also set whether it is active or inactive. This is showing me the base price and some information about which price books this would appear in. We have the ability to override our product image that is being displayed based on one of the mutually exclusive, right? Select one and only one of the following. So if source system is configured as the image override group, then when I change source system, this parameter, this component over here, when I change that, I can pull the product image from this or this or this or this or this. This allows me to have a reactive interface that shows the sales team exactly what they are selling. I have the ability to specify the name for these here, and I can specify the default quantity, the minimum, the maximum quantity, how this is priced. So at this point it says use the price book, but I can also say to show this as included or to require an override. This is in the required group, which means it is it will always be selected. We can briefly ignore replacement and wear part. This is for an upcoming feature set around servicing and maintenance and warranties. Category is just a way of grouping things together. So if I need items that are related kind of together, I can use that. We go further down here. If I want to add an additional option to source system, I'm going to go ahead and click that. It's showing new SKU by default, and I can create a SKU which will result in an actual product directly from here if I so choose. But I can also search for existing products if I just want to link to an existing item and have it show up inside of this configuration for components for this particular product. Go ahead and remove that. I have the ability to add required components. So this would be, they're always selected and you cannot deselect them. I can offer different quantities for those. So just because it's a required component does not mean that it must be one and only one. I can say this is a required component, but you must select between 5 and 100, and the default is going to be 10. And the system would honor that. I can also add optional. These are the ones that show up in that add component dropdown within the CPQ system. And these are, again, I can select them, but I'm allowed to have a minimum of 0. I'm allowed to remove them from the quote. And then mutually exclusive, this is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It adds a mutually exclusive, so select one and only one of the following options to this particular variant. Now we get to the configurable parameters, and these are also expandable. As we can see here, I have source system defined. It has an internal name of source system. It has a label of source system. The type here is a select, but we also support text, toggle, number, and table. It's not required, but I can make it required. It has a default value. And then maintenance of the items that are available within this is as simple as that. At this point, I have added it. It is available as a default option here. And if I select affects pricing, these are now available within the price book for me to configure. We'll take a look at that in a follow-up video. Let's take a look at the way that the table objects are implemented. So this is my table. It's called data objects. It's data objects to migrate. It is a table. It's not required. It has a minimum of 0 rows and a maximum of 20. I can also say that it must have a minimum of 1, and then I would check required. The row label is, for this particular one, is object. It's being saved into object name. It's a type of select. And again, if I want to add in here, let's say I want to add marketing events. At that point, if I click save variant, marketing events are now available for this variant in order to have those selected. If I check this over here, this would turn this particular column into an affects price column, which means it's available to add a percentage, a fixed amount, or a computed amount, or subtract a computed amount from the line item total. I can add additional columns in here if I so choose. I can also add additional parameters. So if I want to add another data table, I can do that. If I want to add more columns to this data table, I can do that. If I want to remove columns to this data table, I can do that too. That is our product configuration for Karana CPQ. Really intuitive and really easy to use.